Long before skyscrapers touched the sky, and before highways carved paths across continents, there lived a people in profound harmony with the earth. This wasn't just a place they lived. It was a living, breathing entity they were a part of. This was a land of untouched wilderness, where the sunrise painted misty valleys in gold, and the air itself felt sacred. They were a people who spoke to rivers, listening to the ancient stories carried in the currents. They danced with fire, feeling its warmth and power, not as a tool, but as a spirit. They honored the wind, understanding it as the breath of the world. In the soft glow of a campfire, you wouldn't just see shadows dancing. You'd see a spiritual connection to the cosmos, a community bound by ritual and respect. It's a common mistake to think of them simply as tribes. They were nations, spread across the vast expanse of a continent. They built societies, raised families, and created cultures as diverse and rich as the landscapes they inhabited. From the Great Plains to the dense forests, they were nations of warriors, healers, artists, and storytellers, each person a vital thread in the fabric of their community, all united as guardians of the land. For thousands of years, North America was a tapestry woven from hundreds of these unique and sovereign nations. Imagine a map, not of states and borders, but of sprawling plains, ancient forests, and sun-scorched deserts, each home to a people who understood its secrets. All these diverse nations, from the Iroquois in the northeast to the Navajo in the southwest, shared a single, fundamental truth. The earth was not a possession to be owned. It was a gift to be shared, a responsibility to be honored. For them, the world was alive with spirit. Every mountain held a soul. Every river carried the memories of generations past. To watch a child dip their hand into a flowing stream was to see a connection being forged, a timeless lesson being passed down without a single word. It was a world where respect for nature wasn't a choice. It was the very foundation of existence. Life was a cycle, and they were its faithful custodians. But this ancient way of life, which had endured for millennia, was about to face a change so profound it would alter the course of history forever. Everything changed with the arrival of ships from across the great ocean. As European vessels emerged from the thick fog blanketing the coastline, they brought with them a world of new ideas, new technologies, and new ambitions. The air grew heavy with a sense of foreboding. They arrived as strangers, travelers seeking survival in a land they didn't understand. Stepping onto the shore, their faces were a mixture of hope, fear, and confusion. They were explorers, but they were also lost, unprepared for the challenges of this new world. In this moment of vulnerability, they were not conquerors. They were simply people, far from home. Seeing their struggle, the original inhabitants of the land, whom the newcomers would mistakenly call Red Indians, offered help. They shared their knowledge of the land, showing the settlers how to cultivate native crops like corn and squash. They offered guidance, teaching them how to survive the harsh winters and navigate the dense wilderness. It was a moment of collaboration, a hopeful exchange between two vastly different worlds. But what began as curiosity and cooperation soon began to fray. The differences in worldview were too vast. Misunderstandings grew, and trust began to erode. Around tense campfires, what were once friendly exchanges became strained negotiations. The flickering shadows seemed to dance with the rising tension as two cultures, with opposing views on land, life, and spirit, began to clash. Before the conflict erupted into open warfare, an invisible enemy arrived first: disease. The Europeans carried illnesses to which the native peoples had no immunity. Sickness swept through entire nations with terrifying speed, a silent plague that decimated populations before a single shot was fired. Villages that were once vibrant and full of life fell eerily quiet, the only sound the wind whistling through abandoned homes. The devastation was unimaginable. Families huddled together, trying to care for their sick with traditional remedies that were powerless against these new germs. The communities that had thrived for centuries were weakened, their social structures fractured by loss and grief. The heart of their nations was broken, not by weapons, but by an enemy they couldn't even see. And then came the relentless push for land. Fueled by the concept of manifest destiny, settlers moved westward, claiming millions of acres that had been ancestral homelands for generations. Soldiers marched through sacred forests, their presence a stark intrusion, while the true guardians of the land could only watch from the shadows, their world shrinking with every step the newcomers took. In an attempt to bring order to the chaos, treaties were written. Promises were made on paper, signed by leaders from both sides. Native nations were assured their remaining lands would be protected, their sovereignty respected. But these documents, meant to be sacred pacts, were often just temporary obstacles in the path of expansion. One by one, treaties were broken. The paper they were written on became a symbol of betrayal, the promises turning to dust, washed away like ink in the rain.